What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-host, Carrie.
What's up?
We are here to bring you all the news this week. We're going to get started post-haste with the largest Nintendo Direct by elapsed time in the history of Nintendo Directs, which happened last week. But before we do that, just a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget that you can join the Discord to talk with us and other listeners of the podcast by going to densepixels.com/fans. If you want to check out the show on YouTube, you just go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe there. And of course, you can also subscribe using the podcatcher app of your choice if you prefer to listen with just the audio version. Just search for TNP Studios. You'll find us as well as the other TNP Studio shows like the Nerdpocalypse, Black and Black Cinema, and the Look Forward Political Podcast. And of course, if you'd like to support us with zeal, go to densepixels.com/premium and contribute just $5 a month towards your favorite independent media podcast network. Because, and look, like, I understand that $5 a month might be hard to part ways with, because Nintendo has quite a bit coming the rest of this year and beyond, as we found out with this new Nintendo Direct. We had a big start with Shigeru Miyamoto himself to help celebrate Mario's the Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary, not necessarily Mario the character's 40th anniversary.
Correct. Yeah.
With quite a bit of news. First of all, they announced the upcoming Mario movie sequel is going to be the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Yep. Or as I saw on someone post on social media, the You Are Mr. Gay movie. Yes. Which for those that don't understand that, on the Super Mario Galaxy cover for the game, the way that they had all the words in the title, some of the letters had like stars on them.
They had little sparkles on them.
Yeah, little sparkles, and if you just use the letters that were sparkled, it spelled out "You Are Mr. Gay." It was a very funny 2007 style joke.
Oh yeah, that was mid-late aughts humor for sure. Look, the only surprise that I have about this is the fact that it has somehow been almost 3 years since the Mario Brothers film first came out.
Yeah.
The wise words of Smash Mouth. The years start coming and they don't stop coming.
I had that moment to this past week when Borderlands 4 came out, because it was 7 years between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3, and that felt like forever in Borderlands time. And then like there was nobody on Earth that felt the same way. Like when Borderlands 4 came out, they're like, oh, it's been so long since Borderlands 3. It's been 6 years since Borderlands 3. So like literally almost the same amount of time between the two games, and yet it feels, just the perception of time passing feels wild. Incredibly different between the two, which is insane to me. So that's coming out next year.
Very excited to hear some of the Mario Galaxy score in the trailer, to actually hear, Gusty Garden Galaxy is peak video game music. So I'm very excited for that. I will certainly be there opening weekend, I'm sure.
But on the game front, they shifted gears. So they're coming out with a Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 collection, which is coming out in just a couple of weeks here on October 2nd. This is a pretty big deal because this is the first time that Mario Galaxy 2 has been available outside of the Nintendo Switch.
Outside of the Wii.
That's what I meant, outside of the Wii. And of course, though Mario Galaxy is available on the Switch, you cannot technically buy it right now unless you bought the 3D All-Stars pack when it was available before it got Disney vaulted by Nintendo.
That's what this is, right? Is this them bringing galaxies out of the Nintendo vault?
That's basically what it is. So they're coming
$40 each,
or $70 if you buy both. if you buy a 2-pack.
$70 for both games is I think a perfectly fair price. I have many friends who consider the Mario Galaxy games not simply the best Mario games in the franchise, but some of the best games they've ever played.
Right.
I played the first Galaxy. I never played Galaxy 2. I think my personal aversion to Yoshi probably prevented me from ever picking up Galaxy 2. More on him later.
You know what,
Um,
I would get upset, but I sure as shit slandered Sonic the Hedgehog enough on this podcast that I think it's only fair that I not
I
get
get
upset
my
at your
digs in
Yoshi slander.
on
Yeah,
Yoshi.
yeah. I just want you
It's
to
not
know that.
even I just don't like him. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about him. The thing is, I know Yoshi games are generally good, Yoshi's story notwithstanding. Um, but ultimately, I just don't like Yoshi as a character.
I will tell you this,
But
in a vacuum, I agree with you as far as the price point, $70 being reasonable, but it's also
mhm.
insane to be like, hey, here's two games from 2007 and 2010, and we're
Yeah,
gonna charge
we're
forty
gonna charge
dollars a piece
$40 each.
for them when
Yeah,
we didn't really do anything to them. Like they're not like super
no,
remastered or anything like that.
nope.
Like I think they added some control modes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, but look, I'm gonna fucking buy them because I'm that guy. So I also didn't play much of Galaxy 2. I did have it, but I didn't play much of it. I did play through. I beat Galaxy. I don't know if I got all the stars, but I definitely did beat the game for sure. So, we also have a new Mario Tennis game coming, Mario Tennis Fever.
I
Which
am
is coming
begging
up.
Nintendo to let Camelot do something else. Anything else?
Well,
Like,
no, there's one specific thing you want them to let
I mean,
Camelot do.
I
But
very specifically want them to be doing Golden Sun, but I would love for them to be doing something not Mario Sports.
yeah,
Because that's really all they've done for basically the last 15 years now.
I was a little let down by the tennis game that came out on the Switch. It played well enough, but
Aces?
yeah, it
Yeah.
played well enough, but the campaign mode was weak. This looks better at an initial glance, but this is one I'm definitely gonna wait for reviews for.
Yeah, no, I had
To
picked
wait
up
before I pick it up.
Aces basically when it came out because I was swayed by a lot of the gameplay trailers and whatnot. And Aces is fun, you know.
Mhm.
And I believe, the most recent golf game, which was also on the Switch, was also, perfectly acceptable Mario Golf game. Mario Tennis Fever, big thing is the fever rackets,
Mhm.
which allows you to basically give your character a specific kind of power, like a fire power or something like that. I like the idea. I love this whole like, the amount of like customization that you can give any sort of like combination of a character and a fever racket. I like the idea. I hope the execution is good. And in true Mario sports game fashion, there is a single player adventure mode. So
Yep.
yep.
So looking forward to that. But again, with a little bit of skepticism. The problem with the tennis and the golf is that the Game Boy Advance games in those series were so fucking good in terms of the single player because they
The
were
early
basically
stuff,
yeah.
like I would see like the Game Boy Advance ones for sure, but also I love Game Boy Color
Hmm.
golf, Game Boy Color tennis, and then N64 golf and tennis as
Yeah.
well. Um, yeah,
They
very
basically put like full fledged like RPG single player modes in those
yes,
games, and they were
because
great.
Camelot is an RPG
Right, and
company.
we've just been chasing that dragon ever since, and always
Yep.
being disappointed.
So
There is a upgrade coming to Super Mario Wonder that is going to be an upgrade for the Switch 2 that will also have a new like mini game collection that you can
yeah,
play with other
cute.
players. Yoshi is coming with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which is a new, I guess, like in the Woolly World epic yarn ish
I
style of
mean, it's
gameplay. Yeah.
yeah. I I really, for as much as I don't care for Yoshi, I really like the art direction.
Hmm. But that's the thing with those
But
games,
I'm
right?
still
Like they're
not.
like it's like wow, these games
Yeah,
look
it's saying it's
amazing,
like
but the
I mean,
gameplay
even going
itself
back
is
to like Yoshi's
kind of mid.
Island, right? Like the art
Well,
direction in the
wait,
Yoshi games has
which
always
Yoshi's Island?
been the
Super.
the first one.
Oh, like so Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's
Yeah,
Island. Okay.
yeah. I think the art direction in the Yoshi games has always been very unique and stellar kind of across the board. Like what there was a second Yoshi's Island, right?
There was, and that game
okay.
stunk. Like that game was a
Yeah,
completely
Yoshi's
different style of
Island
game.
DS.
Yes. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a DS game.
Yep. But again, the art style was good.
I mean, again, the games have always looked really good.
Yeah.
But they, I mean, they definitely cater to a younger audience in terms of the gameplay.
Yeah.
So, which has always been kind of the letdown with that.
I think ultimately, like, I misdirect my hatred at Yoshi when what I should be doing is directing it at Baby Mario.
Yes, that is correct. The star of the single player mode in the new Mario Tennis game, by the way, are the baby versions of all the characters. So
yeah,
we'll see how that factors.
We get baby Waluigi for the first time.
Baby Wario. So it's gonna be cool. So that was like the Mario stuff. The big hitters through the rest of the presentation. There's a
Tomodachi Life.
Well, a lot of people are really into Tomodachi Life.
Yeah. I'm not one of them.
I mean, nor am I, but there's a lot of people who do care about these things that are very excited about a new one coming out. There is a game called Popucom that's been on PC for a little while that I've heard some buzz about. It's a multiplayer only platforming game, and that's coming out to Switch as well. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming to the Switch as well, probably on
it's going to take up like
on a game key card.
Gigs.
Yeah, I would imagine.
More exciting than Final Fantasy VII, Dragon Quest VII.
Yeah,
getting a remaster remake, which is very cool. You know, Dragon Quest VII, I feel like, is frequently overlooked in favor of its far more popular next entry. Like DQ8 is, I think, the more popular one.
With that, was Dragon Quest VIII, did it have enhanced popularity because it came with the Final Fantasy XII demo?
That's a great question.
In the West, I mean, obviously we know in Japan it's hugely popular.
Yeah. You know what? I don't really know how to respond to that because that game came out in like 2005 in the United States, and I was not super into Dragon Quest, nor was I super into Final Fantasy at that time. So I am not the best person to ask about that. But, you know, I think it's really cool they're doing it in the Dragon Quest XI style. It is a complete remake. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's an interesting choice from the greater Dragon Quest portfolio for sure. Or
those
remake.
Those remasters must be doing pretty well if they're getting them out there in such a at such a rapid pace. So that's
the difference with this, of course, is the fact. So DQ 1 and 2, which is about to come out, and because Dragon Quest 3 came out already, that was done in the HD 2D style, which is much easier and faster to just sort of like get that out. And I believe they're also doing like a triple pack that is, like, they're calling the Erdrick Chronicles or some shit like that of 1, 2, and 3, and I might pick that up for myself. But the difference with 7 is that because 7 is in the like modern, like it is clearly running on the Dragon Quest XI engine, and is a complete like 3D remake of something that was like a 2D PS1 game. I have to wonder how long was spent on this, because it had to have been extensive compared to the 1, 2, and 3 HD 2D stuff. So yeah, look, Dragon Quest in the United States is very much like the, you know, redheaded stepchild of the Square Enix family compared to Final Fantasy and even smaller series. But I think it's really cool that they're doing this with 7 of all games, and to hopefully more people will play it because Dragon Quest is good. Like, they're hard, but they're fun. So,
Supergiant apparently trying to cause panic and strife to gamers everywhere.
Fucking up my life.
Yeah, they announced that Hades 2's 1.0 release is coming September 25th. Of course, it's available on PC. It's been available in early access,
Mm-hmm.
but it will be available for the Switch 2 as well when it goes
Keeping in mind that it
1.0.
will remain digital only until November. So if you're waiting on a
Correct.
physical release, you are going to have to wait until November 20th.
And
But
it's a Switch 2 console exclusive, at least for now. I would imagine it'll eventually come to PlayStation and Xbox later.
yes,
But
but the
yeah.
other thing is that you will be able to do cross progression in
Mhm.
terms of your save, which is great for me because I have, how many hours do I have in Hades 2 at this point? 43 hours in Hades 2.
That's pretty good.
um yeah,
Well, it's stressful for you for different reasons than it's
it
stressful
is.
for
It's
other
stressful for
people.
me
So,
for different reasons. I mean, it was very fortuitous of us to start a dedicated Hades cover band. And then our first album came out at the very end of 2023. And then, like 6 weeks after that album came out, Supergiant announced Hades 2. So pretty immediately people started asking us when we were going to start doing Hades 2 material, and we still haven't done any because we've still been trying to finish Hades 1 material.
mhm.
But we have another EP of probably most of the rest of our Hades 1 material that we want to do. Hopefully that'll be out by the end of the year. And then after we're done with that EP, then we will move into Hades 2 material. So next year, musically speaking, all I'm going to be working on is Hades 2 arrangements with premium vintage. So I am simultaneously looking forward to it and going, oh my God, I wish they could have waited until like January.
Yeah. For most people that are playing Hollow Knight, they're very stressed out because now they have like a timetable that they need to wrap up Silk
Yep.
Song, which itself is a pretty robust game. And I guess fuck all the other indie publishers out there because like that's the end of this year is just gonna be dominated by those two games. So game of the year is gonna be sick this year. It's gonna be very interesting to see how that shakes out. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment gets a release date for November the 6th, so that'll be
I'll be
available
playing that.
quite soon.
Yeah.
Then we got the most out of left field, bizarre announcement of the entire show.
Mhm.
And that is that Virtual Boy Classics are coming next February to the Nintendo Switch 2.
Mhm.
And in order to play them, you have to either purchase.
Well, in order to play them with the stereoscopic 3D effect.
Are you sure? Because they said to play it, you have to get these things during the
No, so in order to play them to truly emulate the Virtual Boy experience, you can either get, you have to get one of two versions of like the headset that you
Mhm.
put the Switch in and like put your face on it. And that'll provide the stereoscopic 3D effect that the original Virtual Boy did some 35 years ago, whenever the fuck that came out. So you should still be able to play them without the 3D effect.
Has that been confirmed? Because they
I'm
did not
pretty
make
sure
a
that has
point.
been confirmed.
Okay. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no reason you can't because they literally showed the games during the presentation, not in 3D.
Yeah.
So logically,
Yeah,
you
obviously
should be able to.
they're trying to get you on the upsell of a novelty headset that looks like the old Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
Um
Which, by
for
the
what it's
way,
worth,
like that
you
thing
know.
when they show. So again, the headset that Carrie's talking about, it is literally like a carbon copy of what the
Yeah.
Virtual Boy looked like, with the exception of the fact that the top of the headset opens so that you can literally dock your Switch inside of it, and then so that you can play the games. The other one is like a Nintendo Labo like cardboard version
Yeah.
of the headset, which I would imagine most people are probably going to go in for because that's only $25 compared to the
Yeah.
100 that the big guy
Yep.
cost. Look, this
14
is
games
cool.
already confirmed
I mean, that's
of the 22 game
I was gonna say, it's
library.
basically the entire library.
It's more than half. It's more than half. So yeah, including Jack Bros, which has the distinction of being the very first Shin Megami Tensei game ever to be ported to the United
Yeah.
States in any capacity. Look, I'm not mad at this.
No,
Like,
it is. It's a cool thing. I'm glad Nintendo has stopped being embarrassed by the failure of the Virtual Boy.
right.
Um, and look, the Virtual Boy is it a good system? No, it is not. Is it? Does it like are some of the games still like okay? Like yeah, like Mario Tennis
Yeah.
on there is fun. Tolero Boxer's fun. Wario Land on there is fun. Tetrasphere, I think, or whatever the Tetris version is, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, like
Is fun.
Jack Bros was good.
Yeah.
There's for a system that only ever had 22 total games, um yeah, 8 of which were Japan exclusive, which is
Mm-hmm.
probably why the total number for the US release is 14. Um so look, was it a good system? No. Did it still somehow have some mostly quality games on it? Like, yeah, it
Yeah, the
did.
problem with that console was the hardware, not the
Yeah,
software specifically. So,
no.
um,
The folks who actually chose to develop for the Virtual Boy actually like really made the most of what that system did have to offer at the time. So, you know, I'm not mad about it.
yeah, and weirdly, the Joy Cons also work well as a Virtual Boy controller because the Virtual Boy controller
Yeah.
was super weird because it had two D pads on it, and yeah,
Yep.
it was a strange artifact of time, especially for a console whose most people's experience with it was playing it at a Toys R Us. So.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4 finally gets a release date, December 4th. It is indeed coming out this year. They showed off a section of the game where Samus has a motorcycle of some kind, which
Sure.
is which suggests that there might be some open-ish areas that you can ride around in the game.
The working theory that I've heard the most of, which I'm inclined to believe is more than likely the case, is that there will likely be a hub world and
Mm-hmm.
that the bike is used to traverse between sort of the individual leveled regions, um and more like will not be used in combat or anything
Sure.
like that. But I don't understand why there are so many people seemingly pissed off about the fact that Samus has a bike. Like, it's cool.
Yeah,
It is
and also
very
not like
cool.
not far fetched for the fiction. Like it's certainly no more bizarre than Link having a motorcycle in Breath of the Wild, which you can
Mhm.
unlock in the with the expansion. So,
Yep.
speaking of Metroid, with the wake of this announcement, I finally motivated me to get off my ass and play a game that I have never played. Somehow this passed me by. A little indie title, you may have heard of it, called Metroid Prime One, which came out on the
Little
GameCube.
little
Um,
independent game.
I'm playing. I'm playing it. I'm playing the remastered version on the Switch too. That game's really good. Like it's. I had not played a 3D Metroid game since Prime 3 came out way back in 2008, whenever that released. So I forgot how much fun those 3D Metroid games are.
Yep.
And once I finish this, I may even try to beat or play Prime 2, which I'd have to probably emulate because Nintendo for some reason will not release a remastered version of Prime 2, even though rumor has it it's in the can and able to be put out whenever. So
Um, so I also have not played Metroid Prime, um, because I'm not the biggest fan of Metroid. The most Prime that I ever played was playing through like half of Metroid Prime Hunters on
mhm.
the original DS.
Not the one to check out, I will tell you.
Not it. That's not it. No. Um, but uh I'm happy for everyone who's been a big Metroid fan for a long time, who's been waiting for 4, because I think it looks good. I think it
Yeah.
looks like more Metroid Prime. So
It does. Donkey Kong Bonanza got a new DLC that is available called DK Island and Emerald Rush. DK Island is exactly what you think it is. It's a DK Island themed zone that you can explore and collect things in. And then the Emerald Rush mode is kind of like a run-based mode that reconfigures the existing levels and puts you on like a timed run where you're trying to collect emeralds. And based on how well you do, you'll get like power-ups and stuff like that that you can unlock different collectibles in the game and things of that nature. It's a bit expensive, $20 for what it is, but I've heard it's good.
like 20.
Yeah.
Inflation's a bitch, isn't
Inflation
it?
is a
It's
bitch.
like I probably would have gone with like maybe 12 or 15 or something like this.
Yeah.
For me, I feel very satisfied with how I finished the main story of Bonanza. I did a little bit of the post-game content. Didn't really super appeal to me personally. This might be something where maybe 6 months from now I have the itch to return to Bonanza and maybe I pick it up then. The other thing that I kind of half expect to happen with this is in another year or so, wouldn't surprise me to see this DLC hit the Switch Online expansion pass as a freebie. So I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that happens, because I don't want to pay $20 for something that I don't think is going to add a lot of value for me personally.
I'm also going to wait and see on it, because again, like for what it is, it seems like $20 might be a little high, and plus I've got enough shit to play now and upcoming, so I could certainly afford to wait a little bit. We
Pokemon.
Pokemon. We got a surprise trailer for a game called Pokemon Pokopia?
Yeah. I am so excited for this. It is the first life sim in the Pokemon franchise. And you play as a Ditto that takes on a human-ish appearance, and then you help Pokemon and you build up this little island, and I'm gonna put a lot of time into a game like this, because I've been a Pokemon fan for the last 27 years.
Yeah, a lot of people are describing it as like an Animal Crossing style game in the Pokemon universe of sorts. So could be really cool. I'm sure it's going to be insanely popular when it does release. And they also announced the first expansion for Pokemon Z to A game which is not yet released.
Now
so.
I want to poke into the Discord real quick, because we did get a post office question from Beacher Boy. It's his second question. We'll go back to his first one. But he said, "What the fuck, Game Freak, Nintendo? They decided to put out the paywall before we've even gotten a chance to play the new Pokemon game. What are y'all's thoughts?" My thought is that this seems very in line with the rest of the industry right now.
Yeah, they're certainly not the only people to
ultimately
do this.
No, it's one of these things of like, the last 2 generations of Pokemon have had dedicated DLC come out after the game, right? So like we saw it with Scarlet and Violet, we saw it with Sword and Shield. So I'm deeply unsurprised that Legend ZA would have an expansion to it. What we do know is that off the jump, because a lot of people are assuming, oh, this is a day one DLC. And technically speaking, yeah, but not in the way that you think. You can buy it day one. It's like $20. And if you buy it day one, it unlocks extra like cosmetics for your player character. But the actual expansion content is not due out until like February. So there's no rush to get this. The only benefit is if you really want whatever like outfit it gives your trainer. So it's just, I feel very whatever about it. Like it again, it's very in line with the rest of the industry. I don't see this as being any different from like a battle pass being announced or anything else like that. It's just, it is new for the Pokemon company to do it. But it's very it's very in line with the rest of the industry right now.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're locking, like there's no significant day one content being locked behind an extra $20. You can wait. You can wait until probably the middle of February to even think about this.
Well,
So
and the
I
way that I
wouldn't make
look
a
at
big
it,
deal of it.
the way that I look at it too is like how many games come out with, the game comes out and you can buy like you can also buy the season pass. And with
Yeah.
the season pass,
No,
like you're
exactly.
literally buying future DLC content that hasn't been
Mhm.
officially announced or released yet, but you know it's coming, so you're buying it in advance. I kind of
Mhm.
look at it the same way here. The biggest thing with DLC and where I've kind of landed on expansion content, not microtransactions, that's a different thing, but with expansion content, as long as the game, like as long as it doesn't feel like cut content from the game that they then decided to repackage to
Yeah.
you, like I'm mostly okay with it. Like if you're offering something new that's apart from the main thrust of the game, that's additional content, then sure, do whatever you want. But if it looks like that you literally like the most famous example of this was when Assassin's Creed, I want to say it's Brotherhood, came out. And there's
Mhm.
literally like you literally skip the ninth and 10th chapters of the game during the main game, and it's like, and the explanation was like, oh, there's like a gap in the memory banks in the DNA, like in the Animus, and so that's why it skipped ahead in time. And then they literally went back and sold those two missions to you later as DLC for the game.
Yeah.
Like that's obviously cut content. This, what they showed for the Pokemon thing, is not what I would classify as cut content. So I generally don't have a problem with it, but it is kind of bold to be like, hey, this game's not even out for 3 months. But by the way, here's here's the first DLC pack, which will be
Yeah.
shortly thereafter. So Carrie does get a date for her Monster Hunter Stories 3, which is coming out
Yeah,
on March 13th next year.
Yeah.
And then
Very excited for that.
the big one last thing, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, a new Fire Emblem game, is coming out in 2026 with a teaser shown and not much beyond that so far.
Yeah.
So, but very exciting news for those of you who are big fans of Fire Emblem.
I didn't play Three Houses. I might pick this up.
Yeah.
I got real sour on Fire Emblem, and I'm speaking as someone who like played the fuck out of the Game Boy Advance games. I really like the Game Boy Advance titles. I really like, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Those early crop of games that came over to the United States when Nintendo finally decided to bring Fire Emblem to the US after putting the first 6 games out as Japan exclusives. Um, I really felt like, because I really liked Awakening, and I
Mhm.
feel like they learned all the wrong lessons from Awakening, and they leaned way too hard into um, anime bullshit in Fates, and Fates really soured me on that franchise. So I have not gone back since playing through Fates. So we'll see. I'm very much taking a wait and see approach to Fortune's Weave, because in my mind, like Three Houses still had a little too much of the anime bullshit
I
for
mean, I
my
think
life.
I think they've only gotten. I mean, it's literally like, and I know Fire Emblems have always kind of been this way, but really, it is like you spend a lot of time doing the relationship building part of the game, and then you go fight a
Mhm,
battle or three,
mhm.
and then you go back and do it again. Not only have I talked on the show about how turn-based tactical strategy games are generally not for me, but the bullshit in between is especially not for me. So I know that I will not be
Yeah.
checking out Fire Emblem, but I'm sure that there are a lot of you out there who will, and I am happy for you that you're finally getting a sequel, because from what I understand, Engage was kind of meh when it came out a couple of years ago. So
Fucking VTuber bullshit.
yeah, so I think people have been waiting for a true sequel to Three Houses, which hopefully this will end up being for them.
Yeah.
So that was the direct. Quite a big presentation. There is other news this week. Some good, some bad. Start with a bit of bad news. we've been talking for the last couple weeks about how payment processors have engaged in what amounts to censorship in some corners of the video game industry by threatening marketplaces to deny use of their services unless they bar specific content from showing up in their stores. Of course, they fired their first salvo at adult-oriented games, with that, so, citing games that have like a lot of pornography and stuff like that in them, because that's what you do. You go after like the obvious targets so that people who can't see further than 10 minutes down the road, say, oh, well, I guess that's reasonable, not realizing that it is the first step down a slippery slope. And we've seen the next thing pop up in this experience as well, because now Valve has to deny early access capabilities for games that have mature content. The rationale being that because games that are in early access tend to get frequent content updates, they will get updates put out faster than Valve is able to review them and classify them, and so it increases the risk of something slipping onto the store that would be unbecoming of payment processors. And I do want to point out something that's a point that's made in this Eurogamer article that we have linked. If this policy had been applied in the past, Baldur's Gate 3 could not have been in early access on Steam.
No, like Baldur's Gate 3 has sex scenes. Baldur's Gate 3 has the ability to customize your character's genitalia. Like, this whole thing, I fucking hate the world that we live in today, dude.
I despise the world that we live in. I mean, it's especially only gotten way worse in the past week, thanks to the reaction to specific events from one side of the political spectrum. This, I mean, and the irony here is, like, as I'm talking about that, the only way that you can bring these payment processors to heel is through your elected officials. But the problem is that these same payment industries are throwing vast sums of money at your elected officials and lobbying them to make sure that they keep regulation as far away from them, or as limited as they possibly can. But if you're going to do it, I definitely would recommend kind of going down the free speech angle, because that's what this is. Like, this is just point blank censorship by payment processors. It's moralizing, like that sort of thing. Like, and
it's puritanical bullshit is what it boils down to. Like, there's plenty to be said about, pornography and certain types of pornography, and obviously certain types of pornography are outright illegal, but there are other types of pornography where it's like, it's not illegal, but it's not for everybody, right? Like, but just because it's not for everybody doesn't mean that it's illegal or like morally incorrect or something like that. So it's very frustrating to see shit like this continue to go on. And like there's been other things recently where it's like anything that could be considered fantasy is somehow being labeled as adult content. So like, you're gonna sit here and tell me that like Final Fantasy IV is now an adult game?
It's in the name. It's right. It's in the name, right there.
Right, yeah, so exactly. Like,
the thing that gets me about it is like, I don't even understand the justification for payment providers, because like when you buy a product from somebody and you find that product objectionable, you may direct ire towards the maker of that product. You may direct ire towards the seller of that product for carrying it. I have never once ever heard someone point at something that they find objectionable and be like, well, I can't believe that Visa would allow this thing to be purchased through there. Like, because commerce and apps like, or not apps, but like payment processors like Visa, MasterCard, stuff like that, are so like interwoven in the fabric of society, especially now with the fact that online commerce is basically
Yeah.
the vast majority of commerce that takes place all around the world. Like you almost have to treat them, and I feel the same way about this as I do about like access to the internet in general. These should arguably be like utilities. Like they shouldn't be private corporations who are there to make profit. Like they should be treated like utility companies are treated, who provide you with gas and electric and water and stuff like that, because they're such a integral part of the social fabric that being able to use them in this way to bar access to certain video games and things like that is actually against the public's interest to do so. So like I wish someone could have that galaxy brain conversation with somebody, with elected officials that potentially have the power to make this happen. And look, this certainly, like, you're certainly not going to make any headway with this in the United States.
No.
But hopefully maybe you can find some more
Well, of course,
liberal...
the worst part about this is this didn't even start within the U.S. It started from fucking Australia.
Of course. Like, already a restrictive, like, an overly restrictive society when it comes to, like, content and in games and stuff like that. They always have been. But maybe somewhere in Europe, someone could make some headway to get a European government body to crack down on these. Because if they do it there, then that kind of gives up the game for everybody else at the end of the day. So if you're in a country that, you could make some ways with this, I would implore you to reach out to your elected officials and see and make them aware that censorship is happening by payment providers, and they should probably do something about that, because that's generally not great. And if you live in the U.S., just continue holding on for dear life, because that's about all we can do right now in the wake of coming fascism. It's not often that I get to do this on this show, but by gum, we're going to do it anyway. I'm going to level some praise at Epic Games and Fortnite for a decision that they made recently, that it's insane that it took this long to reach this decision, and I sincerely hope that the fact that they're doing it means other live service games will follow suit. So most people are aware that the reason why, especially like live service games that have microtransactions, create their own currencies that you buy in the game is it allows them to set the prices of the items that you buy to be in contention with the quantities that you can buy the currency in. So if you ever notice, like when you play like a Fortnite or something, or like an Apex Legends, usually you can buy the currency in like 5, 10, 20, $50 increments, right? Like nice round numbers. But all of the skins that you can buy with the currency, when you break down the dollar equivalent, are like $3, $7, $12. Like it never lines up perfectly. And the reason that they do that is because they always sell you more currency than you need, so that you'll always have a balance left over, so that when you then go to buy the next thing, you need to buy more currency to be able to have enough to afford it. But of course, it's never in the amount that you need. So like that cycle kind of perpetuates itself, because people psychologically don't like seeing that, they have this money there that they can spend, but there's nothing to spend it on. So they have to top it off. So what Fortnite has done is now they have put the ability in place that if you want to buy a skin or something else that's in the Fortnite shop and you don't have enough V-Bucks, there's now an option in the game that lets you basically top up your account so that you're only purchasing the amount of V-Bucks that you actually need in order to complete the purchase of the item that you're trying to buy. How has this not been implemented before Fortnite in the year of Vishnu 2025?
I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a greater incentivization for them to be like, okay, well, the minimum amount is 1,000 V-Bucks, and even if you only need 500, you have to buy 1,000 to get the 500 that you need, and then you're going to have 500 left over, and then that won't be enough to get anything, so you're going to have to buy another 1,000, right? So it's just a matter of them squeezing kids for their allowance money,
right?
More so than anything else. But it is nice that God, it only took however many years for them to be like, okay, well, this is how we're going to start doing this, probably because the dollars are starting to trickle off. The other
Yeah,
side of the plateau is
I would
starting
be.
to.
I didn't pay attention to the last time they released quarterly earnings, but I would be curious to see how Fortnite is doing year over year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still probably doing better than like any other game.
No, probably, but I think there's probably a greater incentive for them to offer an exact amount now. And obviously there's still the incentive of, we'll just spend, like, we'll give you a bonus amount if you spend more money, and then you'll have that much extra. But if they're starting to get hung up on kids who, or players, I should say, but let's be real, it's mostly kids playing Fortnite, who only have so much and then can't afford, whatever the previous minimum was, where it's like, okay, just give us $1 then, right? Like, that's an easier ask for
Sure.
like going to his parents saying, hey, can I spend $1
Right.
then I need to spend $10 on V-Bucks.
And I'm sure they have data where they can see like how many player accounts are carrying like existing low dollar V-Buck balances and how long those balances have been there. And I mean, you're right, like giving them this option really just incentivizes you to spend that money, like gives you reason to come back and spend the money. So I'm sure this will be helpful for them as well. But this is just a logical fucking thing. And again, maybe it's the next step towards the absolute logical end game of this. Stop making up fake fucking currencies that you can buy with real money. Just put dollar amounts on the fucking items that you're trying to sell. But you can't do that because people rationalize it differently. Like, it's different when you're looking at spending $15 on something versus, fucking 25,000 didgeridoo dollars that, that don't have a real qualitative effect. In your mind. So that's why it's done. It's purely a psychological process to obscure the actual cost of what you're buying. So we'll probably never get actual dollar amounts, but this is a nice in between step, and I hope that other game publishers follow suit now as well.
Yeah.
The last news story is kind of a bizarre fucking story that comes to us from the UK that involves Sega of Europe. Now, so what happened here is so Sega of Europe had a office in this business park in London somewhere, right? And basically when they left the office, they left behind stuff that they didn't want to bring with them to the new office, because they're like, well, why are we going to haul stuff and store stuff that we don't fucking need anymore? So they just kind of left it behind in this old office, right? And so he basically, there's this dude that worked at a scrapyard, and this guy came, one of the workers who like cleaned up the old Sega office, because I guess a new tenant is getting ready to move in, had all this equipment that came from the old office, including like Nintendo development kits that Sega had purchased for Game Boy Advance and 3DS and Wii and Wii U and shit like that, right? And also
a bunch of prototype
games from like Sonic Chronicles and Sonic Generations and Phantasy Star Zero and some other shit like that. So
Sonic Chronicles remains, I think, the single weirdest entry in the Sonic canon.
Anyway. Made by BioWare, by the way.
An RPG for the DS made by BioWare that stars Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
So now the thing with dev kits, for those that don't realize, is developers purchase these kits from a publisher like Nintendo, right? But even though you're purchasing a development kit from Nintendo, Nintendo still technically owns the development kit. So you're really just leasing it from them. And Nintendo, when you're done with it, expects to get that development kit back, essentially. Is how it works. Because, development kits are much easier to crack. They're not final release hardware, so they're proprietary and all sorts of shit like that. So this dude that works at the scrapyard saw this shit, knows what it is, and he bought it from the worker for something like £10,000, like a
Yeah.
lot of fucking money, because he knew what he had.
Yeah.
Like he had a lot of rare stuff that he knew was super rare. So somewhere along the lines, Sega of Europe realized they fucked up and realized that these development kits and prototypes and all these things were in the hands of this dude. I guess they tracked down the salvage company, and the worker there told them that, hey, I sold him this guy that works at the scrapyard or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what happened is, this past July, police raided this guy's house and arrested him for money laundering. And basically,
which is not what he was doing.
Right, because basically, I guess Sega told the police that this guy was in possession of stuff that he illegally got access to. And so, like, he had committed a crime, and they need to, get these back and confiscate him, because they realized, like, if this dude, like, put these out on the internet and fucking sold them, like, Nintendo was going to come knocking on their door and be like, hey, what the fuck? Like, why did you...
Yeah.
Because they can trace that shit back. Like, everything's serial number and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And so, this guy was like, what the fuck? And was rightfully, like, aghast at this. And then later after that, Sega had the police go to this guy to ask him to sign, like, a formal disclaimer that basically says that, like, hey, like, you're going to relinquish ownership of these, and, that oh, you fairly obtained the consoles, and but this way we don't have to charge you. And he basically told the police to fucking kick rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he refused to sign the disclaimer, which is the appropriate thing, because he didn't do anything wrong. I have in my home things that were purchased out of an auction of things that were left behind inside the old Owings Mills Mall. And if fucking Wizards of the Coast sent the police to my door to be
you
like...
You better not speak that out. Hasbro has eyes and ears everywhere.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like, that company left behind shit. I bought the store lot. I won it. Those things are now legally mine.
Right.
Because they relinquished them. They had the opportunity to claim such items. They did not claim such items. Therefore, those items are forfeit. Now, I am not going to sit here and claim to be a legal expert, especially when it comes to shit in Europe, having never been to Europe. But I have to imagine the same principle generally applies, is that if you vacate premises, certain amount of time probably has to elapse. And then anything that is left behind is then forfeit.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with Sega here, but Sega done did a fuck up, and
and again, like,
they
it's
want their
one
shit
thing.
back.
It's one thing if they had come to the guy and been like, look, like, we understand you have these things. We fucked up. Obviously, we left them behind. Hey, we heard you paid for them. Like, let us reimburse you for what you paid, so we could, like, collect this stuff back. Like, that would be one thing.
But to send the cops and accuse them of money laundering?
Right, on bullshit chart. Like, I sincerely hope that this dude sues the living piss out of the London PD and Sega for this violation of his civil liberties, because holy shit. Like, what a just a fucked up, idiotic thing to do. By Sega. And I hope the fact that this story has kind of surfaced and made the rounds really does cow them into doing the right thing in this situation. Because it's even if this guy doesn't, like, end up going to jail, which he's not going to, I think the police have seen now that, like, there's nothing to charge him with. He's still out fucking 10 grand supposedly for this stuff, for doing something that he had no reason to believe was improper. Right, like there's nothing that he could have foreseen and been like, oh no, I shouldn't have these things. Like, no, like, they left them behind. They must not need them. They must be free game. This dude has them. I'm going to pay for them. And again, what was he going to do with them? I've got no fucking idea. But it also doesn't really fucking matter. Like, if he wanted to sell them on eBay, he's within his rights. If he wanted to preserve them, he's within his rights. Like Sega was being completely stupid here, and I do hope that they suffer some level of consequence for what they did to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Absolutely.
that'll do it for the news. Let us take it into the Dense Pixels post office. Don't forget, you can ask us questions that we will answer on the show every week by going to densepixels.com/fans. Let's see here. We have to go back a couple weeks because we've been derelict here. Let's start with Jamal, who asked, what is the wackiest or most fun side quest that you have done in a video game? I was recently reminded of the AI cleaning mechanic side quest in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth on another podcast. That may ring a bell for Micah because he's played those games. Micah is not here this week. Most fun side quest.
I mean, it's not wacky, but like my favorite side quests that I immediately think of are like the Dark Brotherhood side quests in the Elder Scrolls games, because those are generally like well written and frequently more compelling than the main quest.
So here's the question, because I know what my answer is, but I don't know if my answer qualifies under side quest. Does DLC expansion content count as a side quest, or are we literally just talking about like side things that you can do? Because in that case, I don't even know if like the quest lines in Elder Scrolls games would count as well. Because I don't consider those like traditional.
I mean, I would
side
consider
quests.
it like optional content that does not have any impact on the main story, I think.
Well, then I'm going with Layer of the Shadow Broker, damn it, from Mass Effect 2. That's my choice, even though that was a whole ass DLC.
I also like the one in New Vegas where you go to the what is it? It's the museum, the rocket launch, and it's full of ghouls, and then you find like this cult of ghouls, and then one guy who isn't a ghoul but thinks he's a ghoul because he has like male pattern baldness. He's like, I'm hideous, and I'm just like, you're a regular dude, man. And then he feels taken advantage of, so what you can do is you can fuck up the rockets, and then like Flight of the Valkyries plays, and then the rockets just like explode, and then it's like quest complete. I'm like, all right, hell yeah, Sig.
You know what? I thought of another one. I thought of another one that works. And this is from Starfield of all games, believe it or not. It might be the best quality about the game. The Mantis side quest.
I'm playing enough Starfield.
In Starfield. So in Starfield, you can happen upon a side quest where you investigate like this mysterious like mantis thing. Like I can't remember if you get like a code or something like that. And essentially what you find is you like have to break into this, like, you have to solve a couple like puzzles and stuff like that to break into the lair of what essentially is like space Batman in this universe. and if you're able to complete it and bypass like all the security and stuff like that, then you literally get like the Mantis armor and the Mantis sniper rifle and the Mantis spaceship that you can then use to fly around in. And if you're wearing the Mantis armor, you will, like, during the game, like, people will be like, oh my god, like, it's the Mantis! and you basically get to be fucking Batman like for the rest of the game. Yeah.
Typical Bethesda humor, at least.
So say what you will about Starfield, but the Mantis quest was...
I would like to actually play through it at some point. It'll probably have to be on, like, console, because my computer was not running that game.
Oh, really? Well. Wow.
Yeah.
What GPU do you have in there?
I don't really know. If I'm being honest. Brother, I really don't know what's in this thing anymore. My ex-husband built this for me. So it's a few years old. I do need to get probably an updated graphics card and probably some additional RAM. It's also hella dusty, and I just haven't cleaned it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, next question. Film Wanderer asks, what are your favorite books on video games currently? It can be investigative, historical, Nintendo versus Sega, biographical, or sentimental.
All three books that Jason Schreier has written
Those are good.
about game development, and then the last one was about Blizzard, the history of Blizzard specifically, are
Yeah.
all excellent if you have any interest about like the inner workings of the video game development industry at all. I would recommend all three of them. What is it? It's Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, Press Reset, and Play Nice
Yeah.
are the three that are out there.
I still need to read Play Nice.
It's the best one.
Yeah, truthfully, I haven't read a ton of books on video games. I've written books on video games. I think the one that like I am probably most proud of my work on is a guide to Japanese role playing games, which was done through Bitmap books, and then through Hardcore Gaming 101, I've contributed to a handful of HG 101 books. So I would say that like I wrote a handful of articles for it, but it is a textbook sized tome of JRPG information. So please check that out at some point if you get the chance.
I'll recommend two more as well. And this will especially appeal to older gamers, but also like fans of game history. There's two books that Lost in Cult put out. One is called A Handheld History, and the other is called The Console Chronicles. And each of them basically takes a look at the history of every major handheld and console system that has come out in gaming, and it's done through the lens of a bunch of guest essayists who don't necessarily talk about like the nuts and bolts history, but rather like their experiences with the console, which I think was a very cool way to frame it. And then interspersed with the essay content is a lot of photographs of not only like the regular consoles and a lot of the games that came out on them, but also like a lot of special edition versions of consoles and handhelds that you might have never seen before that are out there. So those are both really good too. And it's also very Europe centric, which I've really found fascinating because we tend to think about the video game industry in terms of the US and Japan, not realizing that there are whole swaths, like everyone around the world plays video games. And the European experience with gaming history is really interesting because they basically came up not with consoles, but with PCs back in the 1980s. And not only that, but like while America was like, you know, living, you know, with Nintendo and PlayStation when that generation came around, Europe was really like had a shitload of stuff come out for like Sega Saturn. Like that was a huge territory for Saturn as well. So just kind of interesting to see it through a different cultural lens. Just because again, the way the history normally gets told is very far west and far east focused.
I actually have one more, and it's one I haven't looked at in a while, but I'll probably crack out tonight. Honestly, it's The Art of Atari, which was put out a few years ago. I got it for Christmas. I got like the really nice like deluxe collector's edition. Atari is the only console that I had when I was little because my parents didn't want to get me anything more modern, but my mother had a 2600. And the thing about Atari box artwork is like it's really good. Like
because it was all hand drawn by
it
like
was
a
all
specific
hand-drawn,
artist,
and
that
so
had a
like it's
very distinct style. So
I love the old Atari 2600 game like box art because like they had to really like put a specific image in the head of the player when there were only like 4 fucking pixels that could be rendered on the screen at once. And so for me, like when I was a kid and playing through my mom's old games, because she, like me, had held on to all of the old boxes. And so I spent as much time like looking through the boxes and through the old game manuals and whatnot, just because I thought the art was cool. So to see these like updated, like very high resolution scans of a lot of the original artwork and stuff like that, as well as like, you know, by quick bios on a lot of the artists that did work on specific games. I think it's really cool. My only knock on the book is that the foreword was written by Ernest Cline, who's a
Oh.
dumbass. So Ernest Cline is not a good writer, and Ready Player One fucking sucks. It has always sucked, and nothing about that book or that movie is compelling in any way. However, Art of Atari is a great book.
I
So
do.
I would say.
I think I would, and I'm sure it exists, so it shouldn't be hard. I think I might want to get like a nice frameable print of the Yar's Revenge box.
Oh, Yar's Revenge
Yeah.
is that's a classic.
Well,
like,
that's my favorite Atari game of all time.
okay.
So.
I mean, it's a good one,
Yeah.
you know, minus Frogger because I'm very basic. But yeah, the Yar's Revenge box art is wild.
Yep.
So yeah.
Great
Anyway.
question. Cam says the Street Fighter movie cast is official. Please discuss. I mean, it is kind of crazy. Now, I will say, I have not heard of many of these people because I am not hip and with it, as the kids say. So I can't really comment on those individuals and some of the other folks that we have known about. I mean, we have said some stuff on the show about like the cast is completely ridiculous. Obviously, like Cody Rhodes being Guile is very silly to me, but not as silly as Roman Reigns being Akuma, and somehow yet not as silly as Jason Momoa as Blanca, which I'm very
and yet also not as silly as 50 Cent as Balrog.
Right.
So you've got Andrew Koji as Ryu. Andrew Koji is a British actor as well as a martial artist. So he has done other martial art focused films before. So yeah, sure, why not? Like I have no thoughts on him. He doesn't have a ton of work under his belt, but he has done a lot of like stunt focused work before, so I think it makes sense for someone with that background to be as Ryu. Noah Centineo, something like that, is Ken. Background in being on the Disney Channel. He was in Austin and Ally.
I mean, look, here's what I'll say. Like, these people that I have not heard of will probably...
Oh, he was Adam Smasher in the Black Adam film that
was he?
fucking saw.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So the people that I haven't heard of, like, I'm sure they will actually probably be, like, the best characters in the movie.
I thought Orville Peck as Vega was especially inspired.
I don't know who that guy is. Who is that
Orville
guy?
Peck
He's a musician. That's all I know.
A musician who has also done a good bit of acting, mostly theater, I believe. He's done some TV stuff. Street Fighter will be his first film, but he has been in West Side Story. He has been in The Producers. He most recently was the MC in Cabaret on Broadway.
So he's like he's like a shoot actor then in that case, yeah.
Yeah, so he's done some stuff. You know, all I know is that he wears a mask all the time, which makes sense for Vega.
Even when he's on doing plays.
He's a fucking gay cowboy, fucking yeehaw man. And all I know is that my younger sister is really into him and his music. So I have to consult my sister because she knows more about the guy playing Vega than I do. I just know that he wears a mask, is gay, and was in Cabaret on Broadway.
I do like how Eric Andre is mentioned as Don Savage, which even Street Fighter fans wouldn't know who that character is. Like that's basically like Balrog's Don King-esque manager. And like who's in the background of his stage in Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And like most normal people would not know who that character is, yet they got Eric Andre of all people to play him.
Well, I mean, why not? Why not?
Andrew Schultz has a very punchable face, so I guess it works that he's Dan Hibiki in the movie. That's a guy that I dislike a lot, but look, I guess it makes sense with the casting then. This movie's going to be a train wreck. I just hope it's an interesting train wreck. That has been my philosophy on the Street Fighter movie since I've heard the details start to trickle out.
It's going to be really stupid. Can't wait.
Yep.
I cannot wait to fucking take a 10 milligram edible, be fully zooted in the theater while I see this film. Yep.
Actually, that's a really good idea to be able to do this. Ken asked, besides Mass Effect Andromeda, are there any games you like to play even though they are generally considered to be bad video games? Yeah, all of us have bad games that we enjoy playing for one reason or another.
Most of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise.
Yes.
Like, I'm 100%. Not going to sit here and tell you that Shadow the Hedgehog is a masterpiece video game. It is a 7 out of 10 at best. That being said, I enjoy the hell out of it because I know what I'm about.
I am quickly scrolling through my library just so I can see any recent examples of games that are generally considered to be not great that I still had fun playing. I'm having trouble finding some though because I guess my taste is exquisite.
I only have good taste. I only have the best taste.
I mean, a lot of people consider Diablo 4 and Civ 7 to be bad games, but I enjoy them quite a bit. So I don't know if those count under this umbrella. I think people are a little hard on both of those games, a little unfairly. So
yeah.
So there's that. Yeah, nothing's jumping out as like something that is well known to be bad that I have spent like a lot of time and been like, actually, this is in fact good, and you all don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that throughout my history of playing games, there have been several that fall under that qualification. But see, the problem is a lot of mine are going to be much older because it was back in the day where we didn't realize that the games were bad because we had so few games you made the best of it.
I think for me, it's like I've played a lot of weird, like 1 to 3 game JRPG series.
Mm-hmm.
Like Conception. I don't know if you remember Conception, but there were a couple of Conception games. And I really enjoyed Conception 2, Children of the Seven Stars. I played the fuck out of that game. That game has a Metacritic score of 62. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I'm not saying it's, fucking masterpiece because it wasn't, but I enjoyed it. I think the Artanelico series, all 3 of those games I played, those are all like 6 to 7 out of 10, generally speaking. Artanelico 1 is 71, Artanelico 2 also 71 on Metacritic. Look, not everything has to be a 10 out of 10 video game. There are plenty of good things about mediocre games.
For some reason, the one that always comes to mind for me is when I was a kid on NES, I had Roger Clemens' MVP Baseball, and it was the only baseball game that I owned. Mm-hmm. And that game was really bad, but I played a whole lot of it. So it was bad for a variety of reasons. So it had the traditional hitting and pitching view, like where it was at, like from the batter, like from behind the catcher, essentially. Mm-hmm. But for some reason they decided to go with the outfield perspective fielding view, where like when the ball was put in play, the camera perspective was like from someone sitting in the bleachers, which is not a great way to do a baseball game. But yet I played through several seasons of that game, and I was tracking stats by myself in notebooks as I played, and it had a really intricate password system, which was very obnoxious and annoying, but that was how we had to save games back in the day. So I don't know why that one comes up in my head all the time when I think about like bad games that I really enjoyed as a kid. But Roger Clemens MVP Baseball, definitely on that list for me. Is T-Wash asks, is there a protagonist in any media that you don't like? Yes, Cloud Strife. One of the most annoying man
I
babies.
don't care.
Here's another one. Squall.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of mine fall into the Final Fantasy realm.
I don't really care for Squall.
Tidus is fine. I don't mind Tidus.
I'm very lukewarm on 10 at large.
Here's another game protagonist that I don't like. Lightning from Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more like, of course, this is protagonist in any media. This doesn't have to be video games. Like, I don't know. Like, Cloud is kind of whatever. I don't know.
There's no like
I
super
like
annoying
most of the protagonists. No, I can't really think of like a super like obnoxious or even like a dull protagonist, right? Like I feel like that is almost as bad, if not worse, than being like annoying, is just being kind of like dull. And this is like keeping any kind of like silent protagonist kind of like out of contention.
Yeah, that would be unfair to knock them. I'll give you a movie one real quick. Sean Archer from Face Off, but specifically only when he's being played by John Travolta. Like, I like him much better when he's being played by Nicolas Cage, but during the John Travolta parts where he's Sean Archer, he sucks. Now, John Travolta as Castor Troy is just John Travolta chewing up all the scenery, so we know that that's going to be good. But yeah, him as Sean Archer is shitty, but then Sean Archer becomes cool once he face swaps with Nicolas Cage.
This is going to be a real 35-year-old white girl answer for me to have. But I think both of the Gilmore Girls are the most annoying people on the planet. And that's a show that my sister and my mom both really liked. So it was on a lot when I was like in high school and then, living at home during college breaks. Yeah, I think Lorelai and Rory Gilmore are probably my least favorite protagonists in any media ever. I can't fucking stand those two.
Let's see here. Johnny S. It's Brad Footed Virtual Boy at NSO. I have to ask, what the fuck is your problem? Johnny, look, I didn't ask for this.
No,
but I'm also not gonna turn my nose up at it once it's offered by Nintendo. It's okay to be excited for this curio of video game history that Nintendo is putting back out into the world. The funniest thing ever would be, and this will never happen because Nintendo's way too smart to fall for this. The funniest thing ever would be like if this gets somehow like massive positive response, like when it actually gets in the hands of people and convinces Nintendo to somehow make additional Virtual Boy games.
Make new. I mean, that'd be kind of cool though.
It would be cool, but it's never gonna happen because
it's not gonna happen. Not that absolutely
not that dumb. I'm going to ask Phil Wander's question, but I don't think that the correct panel is on the podcast to discuss it. If Ron Funches as CEO could turn Microsoft around, what should he do first? I have no idea what the Ron Funches as CEO bit is. I know who Ron Funches is, but I don't know what this what the bit.
I'm not sure. All I would say is that I hope he kills the AI machine at Microsoft.
So apparently,
that is what he should do first.
Apparently, Ron Funches put out a series of videos where he's the new black CEO from Target, but I have not seen them, so I cannot comment on what Ron Funches could do that would be better than Satya Nadella at Microsoft. I sure hope Satya Nadella is ignoring Elon Musk, like trying to get people fired at Microsoft on Twitter for daring to have to speak honestly about current events in the world. But we'll see what happens. And then Beach Boy, we already answered his second question, but we will ask the first part of the question. Do you think with the Street Fighter movie that we will get a Street Fighter movie video game of the movie? I wonder if Beach Boy knows that did happen with the original Street Fighter movie. There was a Street Fighter the movie, the game, right?
Yeah. For the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Look.
I don't think you'll see that happen with this.
No. The original by Acclaim featured digitized graphics from the hit movie. I don't think we're doing that again. However, it wouldn't surprise me to see Capcom.
It was the style at the time.
As was the style at the time. I do think that a cosmetic pack for you to be able to potentially play Akuma as he looks in the film with Roman Reigns portraying him, that wouldn't surprise me. But no, I don't think we're going to get another Street Fighter the movie, the video game, which is sad because I feel like the world would be a better place if we did.
He also asked how my Beat Saber workouts are going.
He specifically asked, "Are you beating off hard?" So I feel
I am beating off quite often in VR, as one does when they get a VR headset. As you do tend to beat off pretty consistently. It's going good. Like I feel good doing it. It has not bore results yet on the scale, which is a little disappointing. Considering we're 3 weeks in, I haven't seen much impact there, but it has been a nice. So basically, like usually what I'm doing is when I get off work, and get my commute from work involves me leaving my home office and walking down the steps, so it's very arduous. But when I get off of work, I will usually play Beat Saber, or I've also been playing Pistol Whip, which is a really fun VR game as well. Okay. For like half an hour, just to try to get a sweat worked up and get some zone minutes going on my Fitbit. And then when you're done, you take a midday shower with some cool water, and that wakes you up and makes you feel pretty good. And then I feel pretty good for the rest of the evening. So that it's been a nice routine, even though it has not been paying the dividends that I might like to see. So maybe I'd pay just a smidge more attention to what I'm eating to help combine those two things. But it's been fun. And some of those Beat Saber tunes, especially on harder difficulties, are fucking ass whippers and very difficult. And I need to remember to maybe turn off the fail state, because it's no fun to like get halfway through one of these fucking songs and then, you get stopped in your tracks because you're not doing good enough to complete the stage. So, but so far it's been okay. Hopefully in a couple weeks I can report back some more progress with that. So,
yep.
And he said he's trying to drop some LBs for his wedding, which is about a month away. So congratulations.
Hell yeah,
and I hope that goes well for you. So
I hope it sticks.
Yeah, for sure. So that will do it for the post office, and that will do it for the show this week. Thank you all very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.